Hello audience and welcome to Even That Bad, where I, Henrico the Eugen, plays the role of a lawyer and defend the worst of the worst in fiction. Disclaimer, I am not actually a lawyer and I do not condone or support any actions committed by my clients. Anyway, let's begin. Here we begin with the trial of Mahito, who's been accused of several counts of first-degree murder. This obviously including the 3 bullies in the movie theater, the murder of Junpei, Kokichi Muta, who is Mechamaru, and of course Nanami. My client is also being sued of bodily harm by the unreasonable Aoi Todo and Nobara Kugisaki. He has also been charged with mass murder of Shibuya residents. As you can see, my client would be cooked. That is, if any of these allegations were true. Starting off with the first-degree murders of the 3 bullies. See here, there is no clear evidence that my client had anything to do with these murders. As you can see by the footage, my client was not threatening them in any form. As we can hear, his last words to them were actually encouraging, telling them that they should be more respectful. Basically, what I'm alluding to here is that there was no intent from my client. In fact, he was being a good role model to the community and teaching these bullies to, in the future, treat others with respect.
Oh, then what's up with the sudden swell on one of the bullies' face?
Oh, that's so easy to explain. Here, I have doctor reports that say that the bully suffered from a rare disease called bubonic regular pop-up syndrome, which is a condition that makes a person's face temporarily swell at random times. However, it is not fatal. This disease is so rare that there's basically no information on it. The doctor's report was in no way fabricated and has been backed up by totally legit medical professionals. This was also confirmed by the affidavit that was given in by the doctor. And looking back to the footage, the screen fades red. And on the next scene, the bullies are totally fine, showing that my client had nothing to do with their murder. And I'm sure the court knows that my client has special abilities which allows him to transfigure humans. However, we all know that that technique works instantaneous, meaning that my client couldn't have possibly done this. And the only other person present at the time of the murder was Junpei, who was clearly giving a world-class performance, like he was surprised. Oh no, the people that have ruined my life for so long are dead. What an actor, give him an Oscar. Junpei should have really been the primary suspect of this case. The intent is clearly there, and we still don't understand the full extent of his cursed technique. The bullies were fine when my client left them, leaving Junpei there alone with the 3 bullies. And then the next scene we pan to, the 3 bullies are dead. Coincidence? No. You may argue that my client had confessed after the murders. Let's look at the footage. My client, in no way, shape or form, confessed that it was him. These allegations that my client murdered those 3 bullies are clearly hearsay and should be acquitted. Next, regarding the first-degree murder of Junpei Yoshino. Primarily, this should not be a first degree but reduced to second degree as there was no premeditation behind. And in addition, this act was caused by defense of others. As we can see from the scene before the murder, Mr. Junpei was trying to add to his body count, clearly attempting to murder Itadori Yuji, who my client regards as a very close friend. This is obviously backed up by his claim, I am you, meaning that my client considers Yuji and him to be one and the same, similar, almost like brothers, signifying my client's respect and unconditional care for Yuji. And for those who are saying, defending someone isn't a real defense, remain silent, because it is, in fact, a valid defense. And now next, regarding the first-degree murder of Kokichi, also known as Mechamaru. And I mean, this was clearly self-defense. Mr. Kokichi literally summoned dozens of robots to murder my client. And to double down, Mr. Kokichi even summoned a giant robot to further his attempt on murdering my client. And obviously with no other choice, my client had to defend himself. Like seeing by the footage, this is clearly self-defense. And now moving on to the first degree murder of the late Mr. Nanami. For this, I'd like to state that my client Mahito is a curse. Just like how humans are humans and animals are animals, curses are curses. And you should have seen, just a few minutes before Nanami was murdered, he was out killing curses. And obviously, since curses are not as many as they are humans, every single one of them are close, like family. And my client, seeing the blatant murdering and killing of his family by Nanami, my client took action to protect the rest of his remaining family. Before that mass murdering psychotic man killed more of my client's family. Like the witness Yuji Itadori, he kills curses to protect humans, and he is not seen as a criminal for it. So now, how is it a problem if my client does the same for his people? For justice to prevail, we cannot only be looking at one point of view. So I request that my statement is at least considered. And now, moving on to the charge of bodily harm to Miss Nobara and Mr. Todo. The plaintiffs, obviously referring to, spoiler, Miss Nobara's damaged eye and face, she may or may not be dead, and damages to Mr. Todo's hand after touching my client. Regarding Miss Nobara's eye, we need to go back to the beginning of the scuffle. As you can see here by the footage, Miss Nobara was the first one to attack my client, literally undisturbed, kicking nails into his head. Now, this is already attempted murder on its own. So reasonably, my client tries to fend off Miss Nobara's attack. However, my client finds out that he's at a disadvantage, so he runs away in fear of his own life. However, the bloodthirsty Miss Nobara follows my client with clear intent of ending my client. And with no choice, my client had to defend himself, injuring Miss Nobara in the process, defending himself. And moving on to the other plaintiff, Mr. Todo. This is hearsay. My client was not the one who caused Mr. Todo to damage his hand. It was in fact Mr. Todo who touched my client, and not the other way around. For example, let's say you see an electric fence. You decide to touch the electric fence, and you get electrocuted. Now, is it the fence's fault you got electrocuted? Or should the landlord be arrested because you got hurt? No. And now, moving on to the last remaining charge, mass murder of Shibuya residents. For this, I'd like to call my first witness, Moses the Park, a tourist who miraculously survived the Shibuya incident and saw Mahito in a train in Shibuya.
I, Moses the Park, solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and the whole truth.
Alright, Mr. the Park, first question. What were you doing in the train to Shibuya?
Well, I'm obviously a streamer. I stream, so I took the train because I was going to stream in Shibuya.
Okay, streamer, huh? Did you start streaming at any point in Shibuya?
No, I wanted to start streaming when I reached Shibuya, but I didn't get the chance to see what happened. A disaster, eh?
Yes, it was very unfortunate what happened, Shiro. Now, you said you saw my client in a train to Shibuya, correct?
Yeah, mate, that's what I said.
Okay, Mr. De Park, can you tell us what you saw going to Shibuya?
Well, I saw a lot of people in it. Saw a lot of people. Well, I took the train from Anzumaloon line. So I took into the train. I saw people. I saw the ceiling. I saw the door open, close. And then I sat down. And that's when I saw him there. He was skipping across the train. He was doing weird small statistics.
Now, Mr. Park, did you see my client touch anyone in the train?
Well, I really don't know. I was holding me phone.
Yes or no, Mr. Park, did you see my client assault anyone on the train?
What can I, mate? I didn't see anything, like. So it's basically a no, innit?
One word, Mr. Park, yes or no.
It's a no.
And there you have it. And since there aren't any unbiased witnesses who survived the Shibuya incident, there is no confirmation that the footage has not been tampered with, making Mr. Park our only reliable witness. This is where I conclude my case. And you might be wondering, who is the judge? Who is the jury? Well, that is you, my friend, the one who is watching. The top comment decides it all. Is my client guilty or not guilty? Who should I defend next? Only time will tell. Now, was the witness a paid actor? I guess we'll never know. Again, this is just for fun, so don't take it seriously. And again, I'm not a lawyer, obviously. Anyway, this has been the fictional lawyer Henrik the Asian with Even That Bad.